generation, two Prose bros are born, chosen to watch every episode of Buffy and tell you what they think about them. This is the Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale.
Hello and welcome to another Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale. I am Jeff.
And I'm Eddie Cruz.
And today we are doing the episode Out of Sight, Out of Mind.
This fucking episode really sucked.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. I'd rather talk about other things. I'd rather talk about how stinky my feet are and how that's kind of like Gruyere cheese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bringing that cheese knowledge.
Yeah, bringing that cheese knowledge I got from work.
Yeah, right on.
Some of those bee linen bacterias, man, affecting everything, making all the cheese stinky like feet. Yeah.
Doesn't sound very appealing.
Better than this episode.
So originally when you watched this episode, say like the first time whenever you did, what'd you think of it?
I remember fond things about this episode. There's certain things that make me smile when I think about this episode, like when I think nostalgically back onto it. But watching it's a whole different matter. I have better things I could be doing right now than watching that episode.
Watching better episodes, maybe.
Yeah, watching better episodes. It makes it really hard to have something to talk about or trying to, write down points or bullets that I can talk about the episode later is really hard when there's not really much to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things.
I have some questions, and I do have some things that I'd like to relate about the episode, but overall, this episode wasn't my favorite to watch.
Nah.
I'd say one of my least.
Out of the first season, would you say the least, or one of them, or
it's
definitely?
down there. I need to put them all in front of me and decide which ones.
Yeah,
I think.
I would say for me, the first time I saw this, I thought it was kind of a garbage episode, and rewatching it really wasn't that much better. I was like, this is kind of rough.
Yeah.
And it may be, for me, the worst. Like you, I have to think about all of them. This might be worse than the puppet episode for me.
Well, that's rough. The puppet episode was pretty bad, man.
And I did like the witch episode better than this one.
Ooh. Yeah, that was a pretty bad one, too. This girl's from that movie, The Faculty.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
Clea Duvall?
Yeah. Yeah, she's been in a bunch of other things, too.
Yeah, she was in American Horror Story. She was in Carnival, the HBO show. Which
Carnival
was
was good.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, it was good.
Too bad they canceled that one.
And I think one good thing about this episode, I wish she was in more of it because she has such a good voice for being off screen.
I
doesn't
agree.
have a lot
Also,
of screen
on top
time.
of that, she's a good actress. She's definitely the best actress in this bunch. And it kind of sucks that she got picked to be the invisible person in this episode, because I think she did a better job than almost everybody but Cordelia in this episode, because Cordelia nails it every time.
Yeah. And it's weird for kind of the monster of the week people or the guest actors of the first season. She's the best.
Kind of at least not a unknown.
Well, I think at the time this is early starting her career, she hadn't gotten The Faculty, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right about that.
So maybe not most well known, but I feel like she was the best actress, or at least, I don't know if she did the best job, because she was kind of limited in this role.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want to tell everybody what the fuck this episode was about?
Okay. So this episode was a Monster of the Week. It starts out with a guy walking into a locker room, or at least that's the first thing I remember, and a girl's stalking him. You get that feel of a 1980s slasher film.
Yeah, and they play that like weird music they continuously play out through the first
Yeah, it
season.
seems like the director was like, I want to make this like a slasher film and like have ominous music every time that like somebody's about to get killed or whatnot, even though that only ends up happening once in the episode. So you follow this guy from behind down a locker room alley, and a baseball bat is sitting on top of the locker room. She picks it up, beats him with it. You go, oh, he must be dead. The next scene, the payoff is, oh, well, he's not dead, because Snyder does a little joke.
That is pretty funny, though, Snyder freaking out about this is
mutants. That's what he says.
Well, initially, earlier on in the season, you have a Principal Flutie like freaking out about stuff and almost, well, basically letting Buffy go check out the dead body. And this time, he's the opposite. He's like, no, you can't, until he starts flipping out about possibly being sued.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you find out that other girl, like that kid gets beat up. Then Harmony and Cordelia are walking down the breezeway. Harmony stops. She gets pushed down the stairs. They start finding out more about this girl who apparently had tried to befriend Cordelia, befriend Harmony, and befriend everybody in the school. Even Willow and Xander had 4 classes each with her. And she is unknown by everybody, including teachers. So anybody that wrote in her yearbook, "Have a nice summer," she decided to kill everybody that did that. And on the top of her list is Cordelia. Buffy starts investigating. She finds out who this girl is. She finds out the whole thing about the yearbook. And then she is actually not killed by the Invisible Woman. And
the Invisible Girl Dexter's both Buffy and Cordelia.
Yeah. I would say that she looks way older than a girl to call her a girl. That she's 24. She's an Invisible Woman. So,
well, she's supposed to be 16. We'll just say she is. In real life, obviously not, but you know.
Yeah, this is make believe. So the Invisible Girl, Dexter's, and by Dexter's we mean she gets chlorophyll or something in a syringe and injects both of them. She puts an extra sedative in Cordelia's face, or something that makes it numb, a numbing agent. And I guess she plans to do the trope of the Mayfield. I'm not sure if this is like a thing that is happening, like an urban legend of a prom queen or like homecoming queen getting her face torn off. But I'm listening to another podcast right now called the Black Tapes Podcast. And it talks about the same exact thing. She like is describing exactly what happened in their story, which is a girl gets her face cut off and put back on upside down. And I don't know, it was a really fun story in that, and I thought that was kind of cool. But in this, it really comes off kind of boring. She never gets to cut her. The FBI come in and pick her up, and she gets taken to a school for a bunch of kids that are also invisible that can see each other. So I'm guessing they're like the Predator.
Well, I had that question when we watched the episode. So she goes in the classroom, and the teacher says, "Take a seat." Mm-hmm. And where does she sit? Because the classroom's empty. And you're meant to believe it's full of other children who are invisible.
What if it's just a room full of predator babies? Predator-human hybrid babies that are made by the predator and left on Earth, and they can actually turn invisible, but can have like different spectrums in their eyes, so they can see infrared, so they can see each other, but nobody else can see them.
That would I don't even know how to respond to that.
I like crossing universes to explain things.
You do. That's
it's better. I have this question for you. Do you think the guys at the end were the Initiative? I mean, I definitely think that they're the same people that pull Willow and Oz out of the school to talk to them about going to a special school.
You know, I hadn't thought about that ever, really. I thought it was just kind of like a lame. It's like, hey, the X-Files is popular.
I thought that was kind of lame, but at the same time, I do see the beginnings of the Initiative in that.
Well, I'm going to have to really pay attention in future episodes, because I thought this was just like, fuck it, kind of like the eggs in the Praying Mantis episode.
I would say that it's like an
else.
unrefined version of the Initiative. Like, this is where they laid the egg for the Initiative, where they're like...
They had that idea?
Yeah, they're like, oh, what if like a federal like thing got into monsters and started using them, you know?
That sounds way cooler than what I was thinking. And I was just thinking, it's
yeah,
like, X-Files is cool right now. Let's put this in, guys.
Though, a twist with no payoff. That they never bring her back. They never describe anybody being killed by invisible people, even though the comic books might. I don't know. Who knows?
We'll see. So what I thought was interesting about this episode, at least one of the few things I did, they finally kind of humanize Cordelia. At least they make her more multi-dimensional.
They begin to humanize Cordelia. She finally gets another angle other than bitch.
Yeah, how'd you like that?
It was cool because it was just a little bit. It was just like a sentence and then kind of understanding that she's a bitch because the role that she's taken on in the school has turned her into that kind of thing.
I did like that line when Buffy and Cordy are talking, and Buffy asks her, well, why do you try so hard to be popular? And she says something along the lines of, beats being alone all by yourself.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
or lonely all by
before that,
yourself.
she says, I can be lonely in a group full of people. I can be surrounded by people and feel alone. Which is, it reminds me of that Modest Mouse song. Oh, no, who cares? Never mind.
You could talk about Modest Mouse. It's cool, man.
Not anymore, man. They're not my private little gem anymore. Everybody likes them now, so.
I think everybody did like them, and now nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right. I beg to disagree in the sense that the last time I went to go see him, it was at the Coliseum, and before that, I was at, like, fucking E9.
E9.
So, I mean, it went from a tiny little venue where they were a punk band to just like Korn or Nine Inch Nails.
Dude, that E9 show was huge, though.
Yeah, it was pretty big. Essentially, everybody that we knew was there. It was kind of fun. It was a really bad show.
I enjoyed it.
I think that he lost a piece of his guitar and spent the better half of the fucking show looking for it because he was wasted.
I got to stand on the side of the stage.
So
and
you
then
didn't
I
give
saw
a
Halo
fuck?
sequence. Yeah. There's nobody around me. I can
Nice,
get drinks.
dude.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
That's great, man. That actually does sound. It's always fun when you get to have like better vantage points.
Yeah.
That's why I like going to Marfa for shows now because you like get to watch it in a room where people aren't being crazy. It's not like wall to wall, literally. Okay, so what were we talking about?
Buffy.
Okay, do you have any questions about Buffy?
I
have a question for you.
Yes.
When that girl goes naked, there's two or three options here.
Wait. So she goes invisible. So we'll set up the scene, right?
Oh shit. Okay. I've got a question for you.
Yes.
All right. When that girl goes invisible, there's two or three options here, right? There's either she goes invisible and her clothes is also invisible, kind of like Superman is impenetrable, and so his clothes because of it. Or she and she can put items in her pockets and they can also be invisible.
Okay, can we explain what's happening? What scene this is?
Yeah, but just 1 second.
Okay.
Or she can go invisible and her clothes aren't see-through. So in the scene with the teacher where she gets a bag put over her head, she either had that bag inside of a pocket of invisible clothes that she's wearing, or she's naked and has that bag inside of her vagina or asshole or mouth because she is invisible and that bag was not floating around anywhere. It wasn't like American Beauty at all.
Oh, fuck, man. Okay, so your question is, what do I think?
Where do you think that bag is? Inside of a pair of pants or a hoodie, maybe, that she's wearing, inside of her vagina, inside of her asshole, or inside of her mouth? What's your answer?
Okay, I guess I'll go sort of one by one. I think the whole invisible clothes thing is fucking bullshit. You're either invisible. How are your clothes invisible?
I agree. Hollow Man, he was in the buff.
Did your clothes become invisible once you...
And also the Invisible Man had bandages all around him.
Yeah, what if you take off your clothes? Can you find them again? So then you are naked.
Yeah.
You have to change your clothes. Your
Well,
clothes
she
are gonna
could
get
see the
smelly.
other people, so she could see the clothes too.
I still don't think she can see the other people.
All right.
But I don't... Even then, say she can see other people. How could she see her clothes?
Like later on in the series, this is explained when Buffy gets shot by the invisible gun because her clothes also got shot by the gun.
And that is completely... Joss Whedon learned how to do it.
Yeah, but in
Explained
this
it.
episode, that bag was either in her pocket, but most likely in her vagina, her asshole, or her mouth. Or another question is, was it behind her back? And if it's behind her back, when you look at her you're seeing through her. Could you hide things behind your back?
See, that's what I was thinking. If I was like, well, behind her back, but
Is it
she's
like an
invisible.
optical illusion?
I don't know.
God damn, this is hard.
Where did this? I would like to think it was, and I know this
I like to think it was in her butthole.
That's gross. I would like to think it's like that scene in American Beauty that's so beautiful where that plastic bag is just floating in the wind. And that teacher was so amazed by this plastic bag just floating in the wind at school. She didn't realize it flying on top of her head and strangling her. Not to death, mind you, but just
Wait,
enough.
Did it kill her?
No.
She didn't die?
No.
I left to go get a beer.
She was saved by somebody.
All right. Good, man. 'Cause that plastic bag had been in unspeakable places.
It was beautiful. It wasn't. It's not what you're
It
thinking.
was disgusting.
It's so beautiful. Like
So beautiful.
as beautiful as Kevin Spacey jerking off in the shower.
Oh my god, that movie. That movie was too much.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. I think it's a good movie the first 2 times you've seen it. After that, it becomes... I think also because so many people parodied it, it became a little bit kind of a shell of
joke,
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a good movie.
Hey man, so you want to talk about Angel?
Yeah, he's a douche again. Still a douche.
Not
Not as
no.
bad. Wearing a velvet coat again, so it's date night. Oh, you know it's ladies' night, and the feeling's right. Oh, what a night. What a night. Probably going to edit out that last one. It was a little too much.
Nah, dude, that falsetto is pretty fucking legit.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I've been trying. I've been practicing in the shower a lot on my way to work.
I mean, it's good. It's
I need to put in a couple more hours.
it's random.
We were thinking that we're waiting for the moment that he no longer smirks in episodes, right?
I thought he was gonna get through one. So he meets Giles in the library just randomly, scares Giles, and Giles is like, "Oh, you're not gonna bite me," in kind of like a lackluster sort of way. They have that. They established that. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm still in love with Buffy, blah, blah, blah." Giles is like, "Oh, I need this fucking book." And then...
I got that book, bro.
Yeah, just fucking smirky Smirkerson.
Yeah, definitely. He made it seem like that book was an easy thing to find.
But I don't know if this is another first, but it seems like the first time that Angel has saved the entire future Scooby gang.
I think it's the first time Angel really...
he's a hero.
Yeah, he's a hero. Because in the first few episodes, he kind of just stands back, gives her a couple of hints, and watches her, proceed as a hero. And today
And he's fighting other people, other vampires, but
he's
not
never been
saving
the hero.
the day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Too bad that he ruined it all with one little smirk. Just one smirk.
Man, that has to be like an actor's choice, right?
I don't know. I think that they were just like, I swear to God, it progressed like this. Let's tone back the smiling, be a little bit more stone-faced. Tone it back until they got him down to just like one an episode, and slowly just stone face all the time. No more smiling ever.
And I think it may be that it was his choice, but they're all, no, we want to make this character
Broodier.
Yeah, brooding constantly, and you can't smirk and brood at the same time.
No.
I don't think so.
Or they were just like, you can't smile ever again because your smile doesn't work with the character.
Yeah,
It really didn't at all. At
But
all.
it does work in the kind of sense that he's an older guy going after a younger girl, and he has this kind of, I don't know, douche swag.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you really think about it, he is the ultimate douchey character. I mean, and he gets his douchemobile as soon as he moves to LA. Well, man, that sentence said a lot about douchebag Angel, right?
Yes. However, like, that car is badass. I would
agree with
totally
you.
cruise that fucking car.
I agree with you, but I don't think that you'd cruise it wearing a long coat
Oh, I would.
in LA. A long black wool coat in LA.
When I pull up in that convertible with like a long leather trench coat, you're gonna eat your words, motherfucker.
I hope that you have that kind of expendable money in the future. We'll have a lot more fun.
That car and leather is fucking expensive.
I want to ask you some questions about hair clips.
Yes.
We were talking about how many there were. Did you count them?
Yeah, I lost track after 4.
All right, so there were at least 4 hair clips in this episode.
Yeah.
Totally hair clipped out.
Buffy had one. Harmony had one. Another one of Cordy's...
Minions?
Cordette's, Minions,
The
whatever you want
Cordettes.
to call her. And someone else had one. I was counting a whole bunch. But yeah, there's a lot of fucking hair clips.
Giles was wearing 2.
He had one on his chest hair.
Absolutely. So, conscious things to look for in the future: the loss of Angel's smirk and the loss of hair clips, which I'm sure will still come up in 1s and 2s, but not in this kind of volume that we're getting in season 1.
I think the closer it gets to 98, we might see some. I think we'll see some in season 2. I think by season 3, it's so close to the year 2000. It's like, oh, fuck no.
Oh, they're gone.
Yeah.
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 As soon as Willow stops wearing them, I think that's it.
I
It's
haven't
over.
seen Willow wear a single one. She normally braids her hair.
Oh, which is even worse.
See, the hair clips, I think, are to pull back the bangs.
Okay.
But she doesn't have bangs because it's all super long. So she
yes.
doesn't need them. That's my theory on hair clips.
How do you feel about bangs?
When done right. I don't know. It's like, it's hair, man. Like,
I don't really hate them, but I don't ever notice them either. So,
if they look good on certain people, they look good. And if they don't,
once
it's,
again,
like, not
another thing
noticeable.
that I would be willing to try if I had a head full of hair.
Bangs? You would have bangs?
I would try it, man. I'd give everything a shot. I mean, the only thing I can really try right now is a mullet, and it looks really sad.
Would you get like the Spock bangs?
Maybe. I would try that. If I had that kind of full hair, yeah, I'd try that once.
It's
I think
super
people
weird.
that have awesome hair don't try enough things. If you have a head full of hair, go ahead and give it a shot. See what you look like in all directions.
Like my coworker Duncan, who's totally bald.
Completely
He's always
bald.
like, "Oh, bro, if I had hair like you don't know what I would do." And I was like, "That sounds
what
weird."
is that's weird. Like,
Yeah.
what would you do
I
with
know.
it? Like, make little dolls? Have them fight each other?
I have no idea, but it sounds cool.
Make a bed out of it.
But no, it doesn't sound cool. That's kind of creepy. And of course, I'm overthinking it. He would just, I don't know, grow it long, I guess. I don't know.
I would try different styles.
Yeah.
Even though I think Duncan could pull off a mohawk, Mr. T look. It'd be hard. He has like, I don't know. I can picture him with really long straight hair like a skater, but his personality doesn't really give way to a lot of the looks that you could try. But I still think you should try him.
I went to his house one time and saw a photo of him in his like mid-20s, and he was super thin and had long hair, and I accidentally said that. I was like, "Whoa, dude, you have super long hair and you were really thin." He's like, "Yeah, thanks, asshole."
Yeah, it's hard to look back.
So what are we talking about?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. How do you feel about the theme of if you ignore somebody long enough, they become invisible? Kind of, I don't know.
I really wish
Stupid.
that would happen. I really wish that if I ignored a couple people that I don't like, they would just disappear.
It seems very high school, and I don't know. What can you really say about it?
It's a dick thing to do to pretend somebody's not there, but if it worked, I would do it to everybody.
And what moral?
It would just be you and me in the world.
But what moral is that saying? It's like, oh, if you ignore somebody, they'll try and kill you, and they'll be rewarded in the end as an assassin.
I don't know if that's really a reward. Do you think that's a reward?
Of a kind. I mean, most people who try to kill other people go to prison, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a reward, and it's an alternative to prison. I wouldn't say like, oh, Charles Manson went to a mental institution, so he got rewarded.
No, I mean that's totally different. But if he were invisible and he didn't get to go to jail,
then fucking Helter Skelter would have happened. I see where you're going with this.
yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure what they're trying to say. I'm not sure if this episode really had a moral. I don't know if it was a morality play in any way.
It's a little disappointing too because Josh Whedon wrote this, so this was one of his episodes.
Joss, definitely wrote. Yeah, he wrote this one. I mean, you can see it in the jokes.
But I think even some of the jokes there weren't enough, and it was kind of lackluster to me.
Right on. I think he's still trying to find the characters. And the world's not fully created. If it was, then that would have been the initiative. And, it's just trying to flesh out everything out still.
Yeah, but even some of the earlier ones that aren't fleshed out were better than this one.
Yeah,
It's
this
just-
episode sucked, man. Any deaths?
No, no fucking deaths.
I need you to come back and throw that in my face.
It'd be
For
funny if somebody came up to you and it's like, "Hey, dude, look at this garbage," and it was like a fucking burnt book with like baby poop on it.
It was actually garbage.
Yeah.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I thought you were going to be like a banned book of some sort. And like, look at this garbage. And they showed you 1984 and you're like, man, times they are a-changing.
Like a banana peel and
Like, look at this garbage. And it's like half a Juicy Juice box and like a little like, I don't know, Lone Star cap some kid kept for 50 years but then eventually threw away.
there's a used condom as like a placeholder in the book.
I pulled a used condom out of my dog's butt once.
Oh, fuck.
It was really gross. I was wearing one of those bags from the park that they give you to like pick up poop. And I was like, what is that? And it looked like a balloon knot literally sticking out of his butthole. And I went up to him. I was like, huh? And I grabbed it and I started pulling. I was like, oh! And halfway through I realized what it was. And
Hey,
I pulled the whole thing out.
At least that other dog was safe. I mean,
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus Christ.
that's, ugh.
That's disgusting.